This is Laurie Sprunk, and the following is an interview that I had with Mr. Thomas Bock. The interview was held in Mr. Bock's room at the Old Soldiers' Home in Lisbon, North Dakota, Tuesday, October 1st, 1974, and it began at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Although the interview with Mr. Bock was held at the Old Soldiers' Home in Lisbon, the material covered in the interview pertains almost completely to Bottineau and Rolette counties, and for this reason, this interview is cross-referenced for both Bottineau and Rolette counties. On the flip side of this cassette is the beginning of the interview that I had with Mr. and Mrs. Menard Halverson of Lisbon. That interview was held at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the Halversons' home in Lisbon, Tuesday, October 1st, 1974. Well, Tom, when did the Bock family come to North Dakota, do you know?
1896.
Was that your parents?
Yeah, it's the whole family.
Where did they come from?
Indiana. Howard County, Indiana. Near Kokomo.
Why did they move?
Just a migration, you know. Several families came. There was the Martins, they were north of us, north of our homestead. And Brewbakers on the west, Bishops on the east.
Where did your dad homestead, Tom?
It's in Rolette County. I couldn't give you the section or the township or anything else. I couldn't do that.
Where were you from the nearest town?
Bisbee.
Bisbee?
It was 12 miles west of Bisbee.
Did you have relatives that had already moved to North Dakota?
Well, no, not relatives. Maybe a brother. Just ordinary people that had got there maybe a little before we did.
That you knew,
Yeah.
or that your parents knew?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were they recruited by a railroad company or by a land agent?
Well, either the railroad or land agent, I don't know which one. It was Mike's Bass. No, not Mike's Bass either. Oh. No, I can't tell you anything about that.
Had your family been a farm family when you...
Yeah. That's all we got to do with farming.
Yeah. Well, did your dad... Did your dad own his farm in Indiana, or
No, he was right.
so he came to North Dakota to get his own land?
Mm-hmm. He filed on the court. Homestead.
When were you born, Tom?
1892.
And they came in 91.
I was 4 years old.
Well, they came in 96. Do you remember that at all, Tom?
No, not really. No. I'd be sure I remember them talking about it in later years.
Did they come by immigrant car then?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember talking about, I had a dog, right there,
Yeah.
got pale on about like that, black and white. He got away from me at Bisbee. That's the end of it. We don't know what happened.
Oh.
I guess that it was balled around there big. Damn it, I don't want to raise.
How many were there in your family, Tom?
Well, Dad dad and mother, you know, they'd have to be in the family anyway. And there was, Earl was the oldest. And then Frank. There's another girl in there, I can't think of her name right now. And then Earl. And then me. And then there was a little John born after he got on home. That's five, but there were six, and the girl I can't call her name.
Were things pretty tough up there in Rolette County for a while?
Oh,
Tom?
yeah, they were tough, all over for that. You know what, exactly, Rolette County was tough.
Yeah. Did you go to a country school then, Tom, or how many years?
Well, I didn't quite graduate in eighth grade. Let's see, in 1902, mother was quite sick, and the doctor, by the way, he came out there from Kansas out to the home. 20 miles, horse and buggy, or horse and sleigh. And he advised Dad to take mother to west and consumption TB. But she died, passed away out there. And then we went back. Earl and I was there with him. And we went back to the homestead, and Frank and Pearl had stayed to take care of the stock. In 1902 when she passed away. And then Father farmed that 1 year for a few people school. Frankie not enough home, but he was working around here. Her and I were still going to school for her teaching. And I went to her for a teacher that was part-time, probably 2-3 years. Well, then Dad picked me up and he was rolling around. Took me to Kansas to his brother-in-law and my uncle. Aunt Francie, Uncle Henry's wife, was the only sister to my mother. The rest of that family was taken over by Labrocks. I forget what her maiden name was. It don't come from it.
When did you go down to Kansas with your dad then, Tom? About 19...
1902. It must have been around 1906.
By that time, your dad had proved up on his homestead.
Yeah.
What nationality are you, Tom?
Father was Dutch, mother was Scotch-Irish. And he was Dutch, he's not German. They talk together. He was what we call a lower class Dutch, I suppose. I don't know. And their religion was the old order of Duncan. You ever see any of those or hear them?
No.
Well, you better put this in the record. They didn't have churches. They met and held the services at their houses, residences. I come to your place this Sunday, and somebody put else next Sunday, and so around. And they didn't believe in automobiles or, of course, they wasn't at that time anyway. Our good buddies, they had these carriages. I would call it carriage, double seat, maybe 3 seats. And they wore plain clothes and overcoats, would have kind of a shawl-like collar to come down and make it whip it over their head. In the box there was those parkas today, but they were larger than that and more flat. And then they had the hooks and eyes, cut buttons. And the pants, they had the barn door pants. And button up there, written down to the button up.
Were there any other people around Bisbee that were the same religion, or did your
Oh, yeah, there's a colony of them out of Canada.
Oh.
You know, not very far from us. Canada's 20 miles. And they was west of Canada. They had they busted up. Some of them didn't like that strict dress and so on and so forth. They busted up on that code and conservatives. And they finally built a church in West Canada. In Kansas, I remember, and they had a church there. And Uncle Henry got me to go over there and be janitor at that church on Sunday morning. Every Saturday, I have to go and clean it up and get it ready for Sunday. But they'd have their communion once a year, or twice a year, once a year. No, and they have a little wine, you know, that used in the communion. I had that down in the basement, you know, holding their services upstairs. 2 or 3 boys want to know me about this wine. I just up there and this old keg was there. We got this stuff. This boy did with you. Oh, this was like that. You remember seeing it.
Did your dad take you down to Kansas then, Tom, and come back to North Dakota?
And I went back to Indiana till he come and got me and took me back to Indiana and left him with his brother and my uncle. And I went to school there. And he took a notion there after a couple of years working there. he took a notion to wander around here and got over in Michigan. Bought a piece of land over there, 63 acres. He came back to Indiana. Said I had to get ready and go along with him. We bought a farm. We put a farm together back. I said, you better let me finish school first. And back about 2 months, 3 months. I may have finished in 8th grade. No, he couldn't wait. So he home now to school and put together and the man stayed and we bought a horse, horses, wagon, and box, and so on. Took out the Bear Lake, and that's where the farm was north of Bear Lake. I was farmed there 2 years, still going in the hole. And raised that. We could raise it, but not in sufficient quality to make it big. And going prices too. Like when you follow it, another potato, there's 4 crops, there's corn, rye, potatoes, about 10 acres for each seed. We got, all of us, 800 bushels, or 600 potatoes. Planted by hand, hoed them by hand, dug them by hand, and we had the potatoes at a low price, 8 cents a bushel. And we had to, we just put them in the field. You can't sell them that price. We put them in the field, and we got young children, and they hadn't raised and priced that either. And so we took them out of the pits and put them in the cellar, in the house. In the spring, we took them out of the cellar, hauled them 8 miles to market, and still got 8 cents for it. You didn't make out that?
No. When did you come back to North Dakota then, Tom?
Well, when I left Michigan, that's when I came back.
That would be then about 1910?
Yeah, about that.
Did you go back to Bisbee or?
Yeah, well, my sister married, and she was married before we left the homestead. And I went there and was with my brother-in-law. Not farming, of course.
Did you stay there working then for your brother-in-law until the war started, or?
No. Dad came back. I went first and Dad came back after about a year. And I was working then in wood refinery, tree line,
In Bisbee?
and then Milo. So we lived the Sioux line across there. And while we were still in the east. And then they sent her to the station there, boat station. And they wanted me to take that, so I took it. All right. It worked around where I bought Dad out. And then I resold it to another farmer out there. And I Standard Oil. I just resigned from their home and went into service.
Were you drafted, Tom, or did you?
No, enlisted,
When was that? 19?
17. Yeah.
I've been told that there wasn't much basic training. As soon as you got in, you went right over. Is that true, or?
Well, certain ones, certain class, you might say, those that were slow. Now, my job was training others. And naval aviation, now I had to train the mechanics, and I had to train the quartermasters, so on. And those that were slow and didn't pick it up, they worked right across. And then I got come out of services. You don't want anything later, do you?
Yeah, I do.
I come out in 1918. Discharged. Then we've been covered territory all around the canal down south there. What is it? What? Canal zone all through there. We had those big bombers. They were big at that time. Not anything compared to what we have today.
Yeah.
There's 6 of us. I had charge of the whole 6 plane crew. And an armistice was signed. We flew back to Key West. And that was as far as we got with those 6 planes that we had with us down the canal zone. You get up on top of them, fabric of the wind, and poke your finger right through it. It's the tropical heat that we can kind of maybe brittle, I don't know, it wasn't brittle, it was soft and rotten like. So then we got on the ship and went to Philadelphia and we set up 6 more. And we took them for a cruise the rest of the way east. New York, Hampton Road, and all those places. Damn it, I can't think of names. No, sorry, I can't think of names. Anyway, we flew into Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's a big resort. See?
Yeah.
Big hotel. So we kind of took a half a day off. The 6th plane. And even Austin, he was board ship, didn't about it. We'd often take off and just warm the damn things up, you might say. But anyway, we went right straight for Atlantic City. We was in another bay, probably a couple hundred miles from there. I forget the name of the bay. And we flew up and down the coast there, Atlantic City. And they said the big shots from New York and around were still sleeping here. They woke them up. They didn't like it. They put in complaints. Hey, those motors made a lot of noise. There was maybe you can name it, a woman aviator. She would fly there at that time. Don't come to it. Well, that about covers it, I guess. We flew back and into New York City, up the North River. And there's where I was mustered out. They give me 60 men. We're all in the same muster. And I went to, back a little and get in the training of these fellows I was in Pensacola, Florida. I had a big nigger. And he wouldn't do nothing. Set him on a plane down to polish up the fittings. And he just fiddled away there, just some little strip thing. He wouldn't get in, he couldn't get out. He waited a minute, strip till. The man there watched him from the top. He was up there and all of a sudden. Go way up there one day and he says, "What's the matter with that nigger? He can't get him to work." And I said, "No, we can't get to work now. One strip, about 6 inches. No 150. He worked on the 150 all day." I said, "Just get rid of him." I said, "Sure, get rid of him." So he took him and transferred him on all these little steam tugs from the farm. And then that left him for me, but when I took these fellows from out muster, I took them down the center of Grand Central Station. I trained them there. And I marched them full length of the train. And somebody said, "Hey, Chief, hey, Chief." I looked around there and said, "Doggone nigger."
Did you come back to North Dakota, Tom, when you got discharged then?
Yeah. Yeah, I came back to North Dakota and the $100 salesman was at the depot to meet me. How in the hell do you know I was coming home that day? I don't know how. When you go to right first one, I requested away and I said, "Give me a chance to get my feet in the water." I had some business there to fix up anyway. So I went to Devil's Lake and not to work for him. Been doing approximately 33 years.
Did you ever get married, Tom? After you had moved to Devil's Lake?
Yeah. She was a school teacher. We agreed to get married that fall, and well, in November, right enough time. And I bought a house, and she helped to put that furnishing. And she went out for working for her father. He came back and we were married.
In 1920?
1919.
Oh, 19.
Yeah.
Did you work for Standard Oil then through the 30s?
Dirty 30.
How were they up there, Tom?
Well, this is on the bottom of it. They were pretty bad. Pretty bad. take a glass and look at the grasshoppers, and you can see them up there for a mile. Just, of course, you couldn't look at the sun. And they have a colored glass, and you could get around the edge of the sun, out on the side. And it's sort of a tough time there for 2 or 3 years.
Which years were the worst?
Well, it was 30, 31, 32, I think it was 33.
Were there grasshoppers every summer?
Oh, no, he came at different times, but like they had in the old days, the locusts. And they're about the same thing as the locusts, they come and go.
I've been told, Tom, that they would come in clouds.
They would. They would. See them come. See them settle down in the wheat field. Clean her up from the wheat off, so they go to another.
Did they try to poison them up there?
Oh, yeah. But you couldn't, a mass like that, you couldn't destroy enough of them. I don't remember, it seems to me they run out of this poison. They got out of it. I went sawdust, if I remember right. Wasn't sawdust.
Yeah.
And of course, they get at it with moisture, too.
Did the farmers have enough money around there, Tom, in those years to buy gas? I mean, were you able to keep going on your bulk truck?
Oh, yes. I got kind of scared sometimes, but you see, no, I'll be honest, I didn't do it today, I did it tomorrow.
Oh. Did Standard Oil have a policy on credit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fella that's in good shape. Owns his property and all that, we carry him. But their policy was 30 days. Well, that's the farm didn't have, they didn't do them any good. The premier had to have their crop before they could pay. Those are the fellows I got in with too. Maybe lower class. I had tried this thing, and I was actually how much it was, like 20,000.
Is that right?
But it was worth
You did. Think you could today?
Could do today?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. You mean if I had the same thing today as I had then?
Yeah.
With today's crop?
No, I mean, are people as honest today as they were then?
Oh, I think so. We got more crooks. We did good thing at that time.
But most people are still basically pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you and your wife have a family then, Tom?
We had no children.
Were those years tough for some farm families around Devil's Lake? I mean, did a lot of farmers have to go on WPA or anything like that?
Oh, yes. There was quite a few that got WPA. Buck roads and so on and so forth through the country. And then they had what do they call it? That wasn't WPA. Those were transfer camps.
Oh, CCC?
Yeah, they're mostly living for.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything to do with them, I had it all to do with them. I had part of furnishing them with shooting. That was all government. My God, you know, beef was even rationed, meat was rationed. And you go to that CC camp, and they had that old built to that camp. And they were working on it for a while. And their trash cans long, around the backside, that's where I was working. And I happened to just after dinner, that unloading them. Looking at these trash cans, and I go there, there's T-bone steaks in there that long, and never been touched. Just one like that, another out of that's the way they treated those pounds.
And some people couldn't get enough to eat, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's right. That's right. They were rationing out meat, you know, they'd kill every so often and ration it out down around the fairground. So much to eat from. Yeah.
How was the relationship with the Indians around Devil's Lake then, Tom? Pretty good or pretty bad?
That's
Or?
all right. We don't have any trouble.
Oh.
And we had the same thing on Turtle Mountain. At Turtle Mountain, once they got up on the high horse there at one time, didn't mount there. He wanted something, so I couldn't give it to him.
When was that? Was that while you were younger, when you were younger?
No, it was, I don't remember about that. Yeah, that must have been around, well, that was about 17, 18, I guess. They traveled backwards and forth from Turtle Mountain to Devil's Lake Reservation, backwards and forth. You could go out someday, you could see a whole string of them all sprung out. Horses and dogs and travelers and all of them, you know, their household paraphernalia. Even the dogs had to travel.
Yeah. Moved their whole, everything they had, huh? Were they still living in tents in those days?
In what?
Tents, teepees?
Yeah, teepees. Yeah. Of course, then they got those better educated and began to build farms. But they were just rough,
Mm-hmm.
dirt floors. Made out of logs.
Tom, what was the political climate like around Devil's Lake? Was that nonpartisan league country?
Yeah, I mean, that was all up northwest state. Yeah. And that was, before I went to service.
Yeah. Was Townley organizing around there? Ace and
Yeah,
Townley?
yeah, agents out. Yeah. They were radicals too.
Was that pretty controversial? I mean, would farmers get pretty emotional about?
That's part of them. You know, that certain people, the characteristics of certain and others, you know, get to going, get to arguing. So one of the characteristics, he's gonna go up blue.
Yeah. Get pretty hot under the collar, huh?
Yeah. But, you know, I don't know what the nationality is, but most of those more radical ones are Scandinavian.
Were there any Farmers Holiday members around there too? In the Farmers Holiday Association?
No. No.
You started driving that bulk truck up at Devil's Lake in 19?
Well, 19.
Was that a truck then or a horse-drawn tank?
No, it was a truck. International truck. Solid rubber tires.
Oh.
And they had governors on them. Not enough power to begin with, and then they put the governor. I'd go up to Fort Totten, and that's quite hilly country. That's in there. And there's one little hill there I couldn't get up. I just wheeled around, turned around, and backed it.
Oh, was there? It was geared so you could back up, but
Oh, more power in reverse, yeah, sure.
how long did you have that truck?
Oh, darn if I know, I was there, I never lived. I think it was 3 years.
Oh,
Of course, part of that 3 years, I was in the warehouse there too. Devil Lake was a distributing thing,
oh, I see.
as well as retail.
Would you haul kerosene then, fuel oil, gasoline to other dealers?
Yeah, I was a retailer. Where he resold it to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How many miles would you put on an average day? Would they keep you pretty busy?
Oh, well, it depends what you do. If you're living in town, you wouldn't get much time. Country, and that was just in harvest time when I went down and went to work. And you'd load up probably 50-50 on gasoline and kerosene. And then you'd have all your side products, grease, oil, activers, cream separator oil, all this crap. And one farmer I set out 12, 25-pound axles.
Is that right? What would they use that much axle grease for?
Well, you see, they had, take a thrashing rig, they had bundle teams up to 16, and that's 4 wheels on each one. Besides all that, they'd use it otherwise, but maybe smear some on the grease of the steam engine and so on.
How many gallons did that tank truck hold?
350.
Oh. Would that keep you going for a couple of farmers, or would you have to?
Well, yeah, it depends on what you had to fill. You might make 3 and you might make only 2. Yeah. Oh, we used to have pictures. Most of this. But after the wife died, I broke up housekeeping. I disposed of all the household equipment and everything. I tried to save the pictures. Have in the back trunk of the car. You can't save them that way.
No.
I just took them all out one day, put the back room.
What would you do in the wintertime, Tom, with an old truck like that? Could you make deliveries? Were the roads good enough to?
Very seldom we went to the country. Wintertime. pretty good. We had lots of business in those days too.
So would the farmers try to fill up their tanks in the fall, or?
Yeah.
How much area did you have to cover around Devil's Lake with your bulk truck retailing?
Oh, we had perhaps reached out 12, 14, 15 miles, maybe one direction, maybe the other direction, not far. So,
Was that a pretty good job, Tom?
well, we thought it was. It was for study. We got $100 a month. That was pretty good for those days.
Yeah.
The day we get married on it, buy a house. Couldn't do that today.
No, that's for sure. Not by a long shot. What was your wife's maiden name?
Thank you. Teresa Banker. They were up around that gun peak country. That's where folks live. She talks to around different places. That's where they're. The one that's hard to see, right? She's kind of sad there, but the other one she's full of fun.
Yeah. What nationality was she?
About the same thing to me.
Oh, mixture, huh?
Yeah.
Did she teach after you were married? That's changed too, hasn't it?
Indeed, it has.
Tom, did you notice a difference in people's attitudes during the 30s? Did people get pretty discouraged those years?
Oh, yes, like in Botany County. And they moved out of their lots, and lots of them moved out, gave up the whole works. And then lighter soil places there, drift up the bench road is full. And their good soil was all blown away.
Yeah. Would you get drifts across the roads in the summertime?
Yeah, small ones, not big ones.
Kind of rough driving with that old...
Give that bump, 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 bump.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't have so many graded roads either that country roads.
Tom, do you think that people were more friendly and neighborly and helpful back in the 20s and 30s than they...
Indeed, yes, they were. Yes, sir.
Do you think if we had another depression now, they're talking about the possibility of another depression now, do you think the country could take it?
No, I don't. Be a big rebellion. A big one. They might be able to curb it, but I doubt it. Have a whole new system of government. No profit or anything like that. That's why I got it sized up.
Why didn't that happen in the 30s? Why didn't people revolt in the 30s?
Well, I wouldn't know exactly how to answer that. No, sir. Well, I suppose it was more or less in a depressed mood and they just trying to get along and everything will come back and then they won't.
Were there any IWW people?
Oh, that's seriously.
Do you remember any problems with them?
Yeah, we had quite a few problems. I was in Milo, I was at that time, and that's where my brother-in-law lived, but I was his place to go. And Raw, right north of Milo, was the county seat. And I was deputy sheriff. And also I was city marshal or town marshal of Milo. Milo was a little town, close to 300-400, I guess. And those IWWs came in about harvest time, a little before. And they were organizing all the loose labor there was. We had a little drugstore there selling booze. And WW came up there and eat too much. And the organizer, he was a foreigner of some kind, I don't remember who it was. And he left town one evening, and they'd all camp out around the stockyards down the river. That was hobo camp. And he was up there at the drugstore one evening, and blatting off about labor and so on. What's he say, Mr. Just cut out the stuff. Get back to your camp right now. And in the morning, I don't want to see you at all. I want you down out. He tried to bluff me. I wouldn't bluff. Next morning, they're gone.
Oh.
But that happened all those towns there. Even after he got the heart, he got out in the field. He'd get out in the field good. It was about trying to sign him up to. Well, they disrupted luck. And threshing crew, harvest crew.
Were there any fights or?
Well, not that I remember. Not that I remember.
Did you spend most of your time in Rolette County or in Bottineau County?
Well, no. I wasn't in Rolette County so much. Yes, it was about 50-50. 33 years in Bottineau County. Went there in 32 and I quit there. Quit in 50.
That's when you retired.